Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Box Office Banter, your favorite box office recap show on the entire internet.
It's not mine.
What's your favorite?
I like Charts with Dan.
Well, fuck us, I guess. Then should we just stop this now? Should we just stop? No, Tucker, we're not going to stop it now. I rebuke you, and I rebuke Charts with Dan.
Okay. No!
What we're going to do, I do. What we're going to do here today, Tucker, is talk about the box office month that was February 2026.
True.
Some big hits, some real dregs and druthers and bombs, and we got everything in between. Bad movies making lots of money, good movies making not as much money. Such is the way of life. Yeah. But Tucker, before we get started, I want to remind the dear viewer, our wonderful, exuberant, glowing audience.
You're so awesome.
Exactly. To, if you want to be even more awesome, potentially, you can subscribe to Backlot Banter on YouTube.
Scientist said it wasn't possible, but we have found a way. If you subscribe and like the video, you'll scientifically become more awesome.
Absolutely. And if you want to double that amount of awesomeness that you're bringing into your life, you can join our Discord server. That link is in the description. You can talk about box office stuff with us there, or just movie stuff in general, video game stuff in general, anything in general, really. Mm-hmm. We have a channel called General.
You can talk about anything there.
But anyway, Tucker, shall we get started and discuss the top 10 domestic openings of last month, February 2026?
Yeah. Interesting month. Scream 7 ran away with it. It took the baton and just chucked it in terms of the biggest domestic opening of the month. Scream 7 opened to $63 million. We'll be talking quite a bit about that movie. I would say that is definitively the story of the month.
I would say so.
And then Wuthering Heights at $32 million is, I was going to say not too far behind, but it actually is. It's half of what Scream 7 opened to. And so that disparity there is, again, something that we'll be very much exploring as we go through this episode here. But close behind Wuthering Heights, I think, is GOAT, the animated movie, $27 million. Crime 101 at half of that, $14 million domestic opening for Crime 101. And rounding out the top 5, I Can Only Imagine 2, starting with a $7.7 million domestic opening.
That's right. After that, to round out the top 10, we have Angel Studios' Solo Mio. We have the K-pop concert film from the group Stray Kids. Stray Kids, the Dominate Experience.
Stray Rids.
Stray Rids?
It looks like an R. It looks like a fucking R.
I can see that. See that. It's very gothic in its design, certainly. Number 8, we have Luc Besson's Dracula. Number 9, we have another concert film, 21 Pilots, More Than We Ever Imagined. Tucker, you want to guess what group that concert film was for? And at number 10, we have Gore Verbinski's Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. A film that we will be discussing. We won't be discussing any of the, basically numbers 5 through 9 on there for various reasons. But I wanted to give a little film recognition on this show because a lot of the I'll be honest, a lot of this episode is going to be concerned with discussing the Valentine's Day / President's Day long weekend. Lots of movies came out over that. That's where most of your big releases were. Not excluding Scream 7, of course. But Tucker, that'll all happen in due time. First of all, a little celebration is in order. A little celebration is in order for you, pal. You did it.
Did you give
me
ice cream?
Yeah, I shipped it to you. It should be on its way.
It'll be there soon.
Tucker, you got your top 5 for box office ranking, your box office opening predictions, all correct.
Yeah,
5 for 5.
That's pretty awesome. I think it's the first time that I've done that, and there might have been one other time. You might have done it once. I kind of try to forget about you. But I did get the 5 correct, and the major difference, it was just ordering. We had the same films, but is that I placed faith in Scream 7.
You did,
and that paid dividends in terms of my accuracy here. I mean, because it's one of those things when you initially texted me and you're like, I think you got all 5 of your ranking correct. Yeah. I was like, holy shit, really? Because usually when we do these kind of things, there's like, we can explain away like, okay, you kind of thought it was gonna be this order, that order, or it was like it's within 5 million of each other, so like it's like kind of a blip either way. But no. I mean, Scream 7 doubled the opening weekend of Wuthering Heights. Like,
It was
this is
commanding.
like the absolute commanding lead. And so that sort of disparity, I think, is what I'm most interested in overperformance of Scream 7 and then probably underperformance for Wuthering Heights.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly thought it was going to be bigger. I thought it was going to light the world aflame a little bit more than it did. I mean, literally, I basically had the opening weekend figures of Scream 7 and
Only
Wuthering Heights.
one of Wuthering Heights and Scream 7 has a fire in it. A big raging fire, and that's Scream
That's
7.
a great point, actually.
Anyway. There's rain in Wuthering Heights, so...
Yeah, it's the opposite of fire. I had the opening weekend figures, my predictions anyway, for Wuthering Heights and Scream 7 flipped. I thought
wow.
Wuthering Heights was going to be like a 60 million near opening. And Scream 7, I just didn't feel the energy out there for Scream 7. And of course, it picked up a little bit. It was released at the end of the month. So, maybe marketing wasn't in a full swing.
Sure,
if we want
yeah.
to say that.
There was a full month away, yeah.
But I thought that was going to do like $40 million. And then for the rest, I had...
Which, by the way, would have been good.
It would have been very good. It would have been right in line with the...
And by the way, still would have been number one.
Exactly, the other recent films. Goat, I said 20. It actually ended up a little bit higher than that at 27, as mentioned. Then I had a little more faith in the faith-based film I Can Only Imagine 2.
You had a little what?
Hello. I had a little huh now.
Can I get that again?
I had a little faith and grace in I Can Only Imagine 2. I thought that would open to about 15. It opened to half of that at 7. I think it's actually quite a bit lower than the first film back in 2018, I think, if memory serves. And then Crime 101, again, just not a film that I saw energy behind, especially in a pretty kind of packed Valentine's Day weekend. I said that would do 10. It opened to 14.
Yeah. I also do want to shout out here, Crime 101, a adaptation of a novel, I believe. Yep. But 2 out of 5 original films, I guess, comparatively.
Yeah.
Goat and Crime 101 people weren't going to see because they were sequels or adaptations. Did okay this month in terms of people going out to see something that's kind of new.
Absolutely.
But
what do they think of these movies, Tucker? What do they think of these is the most important thing.
What a beautiful buttery spread. Just all across the spectrum here. We have for the what are these fucking things called? Cinema Score. Tanner, I got like 4 hours sleep last night, so we're working our best here.
We'll roll with the punches here.
Cinema Scores. I Can Only Imagine 2, and actually, this is quite common for faith-based films, just absolutely skyrocketing to a high A+. Hey, my TV says that Marathon's ready to play. Let's turn that off. So
okay, that sounds good. That's all right. As Tucker mentioned, that's a pretty common occurrence, especially for faith-based movies or movies that are just have an inbuilt niche market that are going to come out and see it. They're sort of predestined, if you will, to make a little religion joke, to like that movie. So that explains your A+ there. And Tucker, to be transparent, neither of us saw I Can Only Imagine 2, so we can't speak to the actual quality of it. But going into the...
You saw all the rest of these, right?
I did see every other film here. Goat got an A Cinema Score. Family programming also tends to fare quite well in the Cinema Score realm. With B's, we had Wuthering Heights, Crime 101, and Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. Trying to films that are maybe trying a little bit something different, as we've discussed.
But not quite hitting it. People just weren't glowing about these movies. We'll look down. We'll discuss the Rotten Tomatoes. B- for Scream 7, Tanner?
At the end.
I would consider that generous.
I would consider it generous. But people have
there are horror movies that are 10 times better than Scream 7 that have gotten way lower cinema scores.
Absolutely there is. But Tucker,
like
The
Strangers Chapter 3
is not one of them. I would say The Strangers Chapter 3 is worse than Scream 7, though quite close. Quite close for two series that could not be farther apart in what you would expect the quality of their movies to be.
I'm doing a little bit of a reading here.
Yeah.
I see that the D Cinema Score icon there is much lower resolution than the other ones, which means that it was not one of the ones that I think I made, because I think I made the other ones. Did you screenshot and zoom in on the D because we never used a D before in the history of the show?
I think I might have.
I think that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, but Tucker, the Rotten Tomatoes scores down at the bottom, the critic scores are also worth noting. Again, Strangers Chapter 3 and Scream 7 bringing up the rear with, you get like your 20 to 40 range, I would say those fall in between. Wuthering Heights right on the cusp of being fresh, at like 58%, I want to say.
Yeah.
And then you got your certified fresh boys up at the top. Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, Goat, and Crime 101 being the best reviewed film of the month.
That's kind of crazy. I mean, no, Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die was personally my favorite movie I saw this month. But I actually quite liked Karma 101. I took my family to go see it, and everyone came out very interested. I think it earns a long runtime, which I don't usually say for a lot of things.
Sure,
and
sure.
It felt kind of unique. We don't get these sort of big budget crime thrillers almost ever anymore. So I was a fan personally.
Okay. All right, Tucker. Well, let's start off with a slight release at the beginning of the month, but I only felt the need to make a slide for it to send it off, give it a Vikings funeral, if you will, because we have talked about the previous two films in this, The Stranger's Experiment. As we often bring up whenever one of these comes out, and we've been talking about this for the past 2 years, one and a half, 2 years, if you want to really slice it up,
Started in 24.
Yeah, it was the first
late
one was
24, like October.
May 2024.
Oh, so almost 2 years. But we've actually been talking for longer because when we first found out, they were supposed to release all within
2024.
Yeah. And so we were talking about that, I think, all the way back in 23 of like, what the hell?
Yeah, because, if you recall, that it was it was like a lower sort of lower tier version of another planned series that was supposed to come out in the same year. Horizon: An American Saga was also supposed to do the same thing. And you know what? Credit to Reddy Harlan and the fine folks over at Lionsgate. They got all 3 of their movies out, and let me check my watch here for Costa and Warner Brothers. Nary a sequel to that one, even though it is finished.
Yeah, the movie exists somewhere on a fucking hard drive. Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, and we give credit to Lionsgate, but also this is what they do. This is their bread and butter, baby.
Oh,
they're like, just absolute fucking shit that no one cares about. I'll take 20 and we'll put them out in a month. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
It's done now. And Tanner?
Yeah.
We're never going to see another Strangers movie. Not that like means anything or that anyone gives a shit, but like, 3 movies that bombed?
Here's the thing, Tucker. The first 2 are technically not bombs. I mean, the first one,
I see.
Because these movies fucking cost like less than $10 million. As we see there, Strangers Chapter 2 made 20, and the Strangers Chapter 3, as I've noted, at the very top hash mark there, each film saw a 50% drop in total box office. The Strangers Chapter 3 made like $30-40 million.
Chapter 1.
Worldwide. Yeah, Chapter 1, to be clear. But, diminishing returns, certainly.
Yeah, no, you know what? Fair enough. Which means that this movie is probably mostly done, but not entirely. We're probably looking at somewhere in the ballpark of $70 million total that they grossed on all of them across the course of a $30 million production budget, 35 maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
So you're right. No, it's not a bomb.
It's not a bomb, but
I feel like it's a reputational bomb.
Certainly.
Like,
here's the thing.
It was such an experiment, and they just continuously failed and like to grab attention.
Do people give a fuck though?
No, that's the point.
Yeah, well, is no news good news? No one cares.
This is news. It's bad news.
I don't think so, Tucker. I don't think that generally. I think that this is just sort of like something that happened in the background of Lionsgate. They've had bigger bombs. They've had worse travesties, of course, and this is just it's one on the pile. So I don't know if this in particular spells doom for the series. It is basically like am I forgetting something, like a Lionsgate horror franchise, something that they own?
The Crow.
The Crow. But this is it's slasher fare, Tucker.
They did what was that movie with Halle Berry?
Never Let Go. Never Let Go.
Jesus Christ, I have a fucking dig for that one.
But do they have a franchise though? Do they have an IP?
I don't think so. No, I think it's a good.
Well, this might be the closest they have.
Oh,
then.
American Psycho, technically.
Oh, okay, sure. Well, that one's getting a remake. But anyway, my point being that,
Oh, well, they Saw,
yes, Tucker,
but
thank
not
you.
anymore, right? Lionsgate's not. Is Lionsgate working on the James Bond one?
I mean, they have to be if they own
I thought
the rights, right?
I thought the rights got shifted around. I don't know. Whatever.
That might be possible. Yeah. Oh, I guess Twisted Pictures owns the rights.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
They probably just go through Lionsgate for a distributor.
Yeah. But anyway, Strangers Chapter 3 didn't do great, and nobody cared.
No one cares.
But man, filmed in 2022. They sat on this puppy for a long time. They're like, what
they
do we do?
They did reshoots. I couldn't tell you what the reshoots, yielded in this third film. And Tucker,
it's 4% better on Rotten Tomatoes than the previous one, so maybe it was that.
How about that? And there was also a secret 4.5-hour screening of the supercut that was screened in late June of all three.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't hear if it was good or bad. I have to assume bad because it's 3 bad movies that you watch in succession.
Yeah.
But anyway, Tucker, I have to put you on blast a little bit here.
Me?
Last month,
I said I would watch them. I didn't. I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
I fucking lied to you. Okay,
that's fair enough. That's fair
enough. What do you fucking want me to say?
Yeah.
I didn't care. I didn't want to see the fucking movie. I'll take the L.
Let's talk Wuthering Heights. Wuthering Heights. Let's move on. So this was the big one. This is the big kahuna
Tanner,
of this Valentine's Day weekend.
Thank you for putting the quotation marks around the
Absolutely. I had to. So
Christ.
Wuthering Heights so far has made $200 million.
That's pretty freaking good.
It's very good. This film cost $80 million and had a marketing budget of $85. So, it's not a home run for Warner Brothers by any means, but it is a solid success. It was a little bit front loaded because it had, just this buzzy kind of discoursey thing going into it, and I think once people watch it, it was really kind of black licorice. Either you like it or you don't. Not really good for word of mouth necessarily.
Huh. Yeah. But it has hung around. It'll pass 200 million.
And absolutely.
What you got to give them, what do you got to say for this movie is like profitability is not like necessarily super common, especially with bigger budget movies for like this. In the theatrical marketplace, this is gonna fucking clean house on streaming. Oh my god! People are gonna be watching this for years on streaming.
But Chuck, you bring up a great point that this is a really good result for a gothic sort of mid-century written romance thing. That stuff like that we don't really get anymore, and when we do, it's maybe more pitched at like awards fair or something like that. And it makes $10 million at the box office instead of 200. I think Warner Brothers is probably happy with this, especially since it continued their consecutive run of number one openings, their 9th consecutive number one opening.
And now it's been broken, right?
It has been broken. Yes, with the release of The Bride this weekend. But the opening weekend demographics are kind of what you would expect. It's very female front-loaded. 76% of that opening weekend was women. 53% of those were aged 18 to 34. So yes, bringing out a lot of the young female audience. That is exactly what they wanted with the cast here, the director, the mood, the aesthetic, everything like that. Yeah.
Any other interesting notes down here? Highest definite recommend scores came from the even younger audience.
People. This is a rated R movie. It's a rated R. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's.
Wait, is this a rated R?
Tanner, I honestly I can't tell you the last time I thought about what the rating of
exactly.
Was.
We always say this whenever this question pops up, is that like we just don't think about this stuff anymore. But I think it is, right?
Yeah, rated R for sexual content, some violent content.
Well, you get 17-year-olds can get into rated R movies. To be fair, and then as long as you have someone over the age of 17, you could go in if you're a teenager, if you're under that age.
Yeah.
And
very interesting though. I just think that's very funny that.
Exactly. It's
high schoolers are like, oh boy.
It's kind of who the movies are for a little bit, as people those aged.
It also feels like maybe it was written by a high schooler. And the characters, Tanner, act like high schoolers.
Yes, exactly. This is what I'm saying. I think it's really interesting to note the last thing at the bottom here, though. Set the record for the most brand partnerships for an R-rated film. It had 49 major brand partnerships, and that lends itself towards that 85 million P&A budget as well.
Interesting.
They did a lot of work to get this in front of people's eyes, connect it to brands, or maybe brands wanted to be connected to this one.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, it also that sort of thing makes sense, especially when Margot Robbie is the star of the movie,
and Jacob Elordi. He's a big name, big face.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and so it's just like, look, you're gonna attach it to like big name hot people, like
lots of like beauty brands and stuff that were connected to this, certainly for sure.
So if we are to give a ring a ding ding to the old doc, and I'm like, Dr. Dykstra, MD, why did this movie underperform in its opening weekend? What does he say?
That's an interesting question.
Because ultimately, it doesn't matter. The movie did fine. It's profitable. It's going to do great on streaming. This is a win across the board. But I do think for me, I was in the same boat as you. I was taking a swing, saying that Scream 7 would outgross it. Obviously, again, that paid dividends. But like, I didn't think you were crazy for saying that it was going to be the biggest. And also, we kind of stopped doing the projections. But do you remember what the opening weekend projection was?
Yeah, I can pull that up here a second. But to speak to it, I think I already kind of mentioned what my thought process was there. That I think it was just a word of mouth thing. That ultimately it came out that like, this movie's not that great, and people were certainly turning on it a little bit more than they were with like Saltburn or Promising Young Woman. Let's see here.
Way lower Rotten Tomatoes for this. This is her first not fresh movie.
Yeah.
Emma Fennell.
What am I looking for? Talk about what am I looking for again?
The opening weekend projections for
opening weekend projections.
Did it miss them? Is my
Wuthering
question.
Heights. Wuthering Heights was projected, a week or two before its release to make $45 to $60 million.
It really missed that.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh. Yeah, I mean, so I think the only thing you can say is that it had about word of mouth.
It's got to be the word of mouth thing. I think it was. If it were better reviewed, I think it might have been a little bit easier to sell people outside of that built-in demographic on this, that young female audience. I think it would have been a little bit easier to sell them on it. I just don't think that ultimately panned out. And, this underperformed, but I also think the next two movies that we're going to talk about perhaps overperformed a little bit in their opening weekends. Especially the next film we're going to talk about, if we want to move on to GOAT.
Now, just double check with you. These numbers in the bottom corner of the circles are obviously not accurate, right?
No, they are.
Did you gave GOAT a 4?
Yeah, it's not very good.
Oh, I thought people liked that movie.
No, I don't. I don't particularly like it. For not for any story reasons or anything like that. And I think the animation is pretty good, but And here's the thing, Tucker. And this I'm spoiling a little bit on my thoughts on the film Hoppers, but I just couldn't help but think of this when I was watching Hoppers just a couple days ago, and comparing it to this other most recent kids animated movie that I watched, GOAT. There's some times where a kids movie, especially nowadays, just has a weird rhythm to it. I don't know if it's like these animators or directors or whomever or editors like catering it to what they imagine like the attention span of like a 7-year-old is nowadays. Sure. But it's just a really fast sort of arrhythmic kind of mood that happens in this movie. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. But like I think it's also a voice acting thing. I don't think the voice acting, like the VO matching, was very good here, which just gives the whole thing like a really weird vibe to me. The story moves really fast too. The plot points hit really fast. And I compare it to Hoppers because I'm like, this is a well-paced like movie, and it has good rhythms to it and everything. Like the comedic rhythms are all there for me. Whereas I just didn't feel that way with GOAT.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah. So, but as you're mentioning, the people do not agree with you necessarily. This is doing it pretty well actually for an original film here. I really had no understanding of what this movie was going to do popularity wise. It really felt like it came out of nowhere for my sensibilities. But this was a big budget Sony animation movie, and I'm curious if for you look at this sort of number, it'll hold around a little bit longer. That's usually what happens with animated films. But do you think this is something that Sony will then sort of lean back on and try to make like an
Sequels?
IP that they revisit and stuff like that?
I think it's proving to be successful enough that they can definitely do that. It's sort of it is very Zootopia in its construction, in that, or in its world building, I guess I should say, that you can be like, and now they're going to like this animal world to play basketball or whatever.
Sure.
Like it's very easy to build that in, and you can just be like, and now this famous person is voicing like the big scary mean villain or whatever.
Yeah, of course.
I can definitely see that happening, but this seems a little bit Sony has their premier assured box office smash animation hit with the Spider-Verse movies and spin-offs that they might plan therein. But this could be a lower tier one, certainly. I mean, it taps into an evergreen sort of interest in that it's like talking animals and basketball. Like it's a talking animal sports movie for kids. Like what else do you really need? Yeah. I could definitely see this becoming a series for them.
Yeah. So what kind of interesting little points you got going on here for Goat?
Well, Tucker, I invoked Hoppers a little bit earlier, and Goat, up until this weekend, held the esteemed superlative of having the biggest animated 4-day weekend since Coco with $59 million.
That was 2017?
27 for an original
Jesus.
animated film, I should point out. Yes.
Yeah.
That 4-day opening was $35 million. And yes, with the release of Hoppers this weekend, it presumed success, that will take the original animated opening weekend superlative away.
Yeah. It's more, I think, a commentary on how weak the offerings for original animated movies have been.
I mean, if we want to point to it, especially Pixar's original animated offerings, not releasing like the ones that people broadly like in theaters, and then in theaters their big hits being sequels.
Correct. Yes. But also Disney.
Yes,
exact same thing.
Exact same point I would make. Yeah.
Yeah, because Encanto has the popularity and the quality to have probably outgrossed this if it had gotten a full release, but that, extenuating circumstances.
Exactly.
Wish, Strange World.
Yeah.
Like we're not operating in the top crust anymore.
We're not sending our best, are we, Tuck? We're not sending our best out there.
But it is also, again, important to note, original animated.
Yes.
Sequel animated movies are they're swimming in it.
They are perhaps bigger than ever, I would say.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, we got the highest grossing animated movies. 2 of them last year.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And we're Tanner. And we're gonna get like 3 of them this year.
Yeah. But anyway, I just put some other opening weekend demographic info here. As you might expect, kids under 12 really love this one, and 96 definite recommend from child audiences under 12.
Yeah.
Also, very diverse opening weekend demographics. 31% Caucasian, 27% Latino or Hispanic, 26% Black. Like, this is a certainly a diverse voice cast. And, has topics that can appeal to kids of all backgrounds. It's just very easy to access there.
Yeah. So you mentioned Hoppers. Obviously, we're talking about that next month. Beating this, being very well received. Here's the question, Tanner.
Okay.
Disney,
yes,
is also putting their hat in the ring for a new original animated film this year. The movie Hexed is their upcoming animated projects for the end of the year. Mm-hmm. What do you think? If you had to, with basically no knowledge, there's no trailer, you don't fucking know.
We've got we got one piece of concept art, basically.
Yeah. Are we thinking if Disney's going to take the crown? Right?
Are they back? Is the question. Are they back with this one?
I don't know.
Are you asking? Does it top? Does it top Goat or does it top Hoppers? Is that what you're asking?
Both, yeah.
I'm going to say above Goat, but below Hop. I mean, it's a Thanksgiving weekend.
How big's the spread?
I'm going to say above both.
Yeah.
I mean, this is spoiling what we'll talk about at the end. But if you're asking what Hoppers is predicted to win or to get, above this weekend, looking 40 plus is kind of what it's looking like.
Okay. Yeah,
and this was
40 plus is doable for
Yeah.
a Disney movie.
And this was
but I'm going to say
across
no.
4 day. Oh, okay.
Because the last time I did this,
he
it
was
the
Wish.
biggest egg I've ever had in my face, and that was how confident I was in Wish.
A goddamn ostrich-sized egg, you know?
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. Let's talk next about Crime 101. Crime thriller. This is coming from our friends over at Amazon MGM.
Yes.
$90 million budget.
Pretty expensive movie.
It's not going to make that back, but
No.
I don't know. Amazon's like...
This is part of
really
their...
seem to fucking care.
We talk about this all the time whenever an Amazon MGM movie comes out, and will be interesting to continue to talk
that's
about
Apple.
it.
My bad. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I forgive you.
Yeah, sorry.
Very similar vibe. But, you know, they always sort of call it copium, if you will. They always sort of say, oh, you know, as long as we make back, like, what we spent on marketing on our theatrical movies, like, we don't really care. They come to the service, they stay internal, and we can advertise them for free on that service and, you know, get the ad money for people who don't have the ad-free tiers or whatever. So, and this is certainly going to be one that, you know, if not huge on streaming, or if not huge in theaters, will be big on streaming because what can you do, Tucker? You can throw up the big faces on your fucking scrolling Amazon Fire Stick. You can put Chris Hemsworth's face and Halle Berry's face and Mark Ruffalo's face up, Barry Keoghan's face.
No, you definitely can. And also, I mean, this is just me kind of besmirching the streaming audience and the general quality of streaming movies, which, again, I don't think this is a low-quality movie. I thought it was actually pretty good. But
I wasn't a huge fan. Yeah.
Crime 101 is such a fucking big, block-letter, generic-ass name that, like, I associate that with, like, whatever crap, like, released on one of these services and just, like, scrolls by on my smart TV. I'm like, boy, howdy, I'm never fucking gonna watch that.
Yeah,
but, like,
we always say it. Dads can click on that and fall asleep within the first 30 minutes, and they'll be just fine.
Hey, my dad was actually awake for almost the entire movie, I believe.
Okay, almost the entire movie. Wow!
It's pretty impressive.
A ringing endorsement.
But this is fine. This is fine for this movie. I think that
it's fine.
I really had no hope going into this movie.
Me neither. I will be honest.
Because like I really just didn't know that much about it, and like I didn't hear everyone talking about it, and that's like a kind of panned out, but like. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I like the movie, but I'm trying to be nice to it. But like, also it's they spent $90 million on it, so like
they spent $90 million, and you know, Tucker, you want the faces, you gotta cut the checks for those faces.
Course.
Yeah. And you know, I think this was filmed in Los Angeles, which is not a cheap affair to do nowadays. You know, the whole California tax breaks for film production, like that is being litigated in that state's legislature right now, and was part of the reason why we think back to last year with One Battle After Another, also quite an expensive movie filmed in California. It's just if directors want to do that, studios and financiers need to be willing to take the hit on that. Like, you want that authenticity of filming in California, it's gonna be a little more expensive than filming in fucking Bulgaria or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And I think this did fare a little bit better than expected. It saw the biggest jump from Friday to Saturday. You know, the Saturday, the 14th being Valentine's Day. Of the 3 big releases that we're talking about, it jumped 75%.
Yeah,
I was actually surprised.
It has the highest Rotten Tomatoes scores, if you remember.
It does. So. It does. It got good reviews. That certainly helped boost it across that opening weekend. And I was surprised because I look at this and I'm like, this is what dads or single dudes go see over Valentine's Day weekend when they don't have a date. But couples did go to see the movie over that weekend. 44% of that opening weekend audience was couples going to go see it. I also jotted down the definite recommend scores. That's a little bit more in line with what you might expect. 74% definite recommend from people ages 45 to 54. The lowest definite recommend scores came from audiences under 25, 33%.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so this is 33% of people who saw the movie that are under the age of 25 would say that they recommend the movie.
Correct.
Yeah,
not a great number. A third. You want a little higher than that.
I mean, I guess we're not under 25, but
well, we are now firmly in the 25 to 34 age bracket now.
That's true. Look at us moving up in the world.
That's right. It has also already entered the top 10 highest grossing films from Amazon MGM. I put an asterisk here because I was confused by this. I tried to do a little digging. I think what they are counting is films that entered production after the 2021 merger happened. So, like, I'm like, Creed 3, obviously, huge hit. That was in the Amazon MGM era, but I'm like, they're like, technically that was started as a UA production, and then Amazon shut down UA in the midst of that film being produced. So,
that's crazy.
yeah.
I forgot that. God damn, United Artists was around for like 100 years, man. Jesus Christ.
But anyway, we got Bezos in charge of things now or whatever. So everything's good. Everything's fine.
Everything's awesome. Yeah.
Okay.
And also, it's also very important to note, multiple asterisks, this is Amazon MGM.
Mm-hmm.
This is not one of the highest grossing MGM movies of all time. Not even fucking close.
So what we're basically talking is like movies that they've made since 2023 and released in theaters, which is a pretty limited pool.
That's true. Yeah, and like they also do quite a bit of for like the bulk of their slate, a good chunk of it is like more awardsy kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
So it's not
or just like stuff that goes to Amazon Prime.
Of course.
Everyone's watching The Wrecking Crew on Amazon Prime right
Jackpot.
now. And Jackpot, exactly. Okay, Tucker, should we have some fun and not die?
Yeah, Tanner.
Okay.
Good luck, have fun, don't die from director Gore Verbinski. $20 million budget. Hold on. $8 million. Doesn't really seem like people will give a shit.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate because I like this movie. You really dug this one. Awesome. And yeah, I mean, it's I ultimately it's just a tough sell. You know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a very zany, out there kind of movie that just doesn't have the marketing budget of a film released by a major distributor or a major studio. This was a Briarcliff distributed film, who, have had their mid-sized hits, but are a lot more comfortable selling something a little bit more standard, a little bit more familiar, and not a sci-fi time-bending AI romp across Los Angeles,
Yeah, it's a very strange movie, and I also gotta say, and even though I love the movie, I think this is still true. Really bad name to like get people curious of what it is.
Sure.
Like it's so long and clumsy. What does it mean? Like they say it in the movie, but even though I have seen the movie and liked it, I'm like, it's not like. It feels forced. It doesn't feel like a naturally iconic, like, eye-catching thing. It's just like, no, it's just fucking long. Like, yeah. It's like a song lyric, and you're like, why? Why are you calling your fucking movie this?
The very first trailer for this movie, it literally is like sung at the end when they're like showing the title. It's like, good luck, have fun, don't die.
It's in the movie too.
Yeah. With all that being said, it is the biggest opening weekend for Briarcliff Entertainment.
Yes.
Very narrowly beating Honest
that's very
Thief
funny.
From 2020. Tucker, that movie came out in October 2020. We're not even out. We're not even really out of the woods of pandemic stuff yet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But it's a fucking Liam Neeson like action movie for grandpas, so it's gonna it does what it does.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but yeah, this movie beat it by like $600,000 or something like that opening weekend. So yeah. And I think that what they did try to sell it, they certainly tried to target it at demographics that would like it. That 18 to 34 bracket that we're part of, as we just said, made it 52% of that opening weekend audience. So it is aimed at younger audiences. It is talking about social media and AI and all of these things. So I think young people are just maybe a little bit more attuned to go see a movie about that kind of thing, especially when it really sells itself as like zany, off the wall, random comedy.
Yeah, and it is interesting because again, I'm watching it and really, for me, the tone really quite working. I also feel like it's a movie that younger people and the more like common audience, younger people might also find kind of grating because it does have like a kids be on their phones
issue.
and social media are
It's a movie for younger audiences written by people who are like 40 plus.
Yeah,
which can work, but again, when it's about these topics, as you mentioned, is a little like kids be on their phone.
Yeah. I mean, that's like one of the major plot points of the movie.
Exactly. I will say, anecdotally, that this is the biggest group of people that I've brought to a movie in several years.
Huh.
I had the standard crew, Tucker, our fellows that went with us to movies, but also my girlfriend Anna and her friends wanted to go see this one. Just because it seemed so weird, zany, off the wall, random kind of thing. So cool. we all went to go see this.
Yeah. And the other thing, the coolest thing to note about this movie is that they did have an interesting marketing gimmick.
Yes.
A system where they would give tickets to people who could prove that they had lost their job due to AI, like Gen AI things that their
AI replacement.
Companies that had instituted AI things that are taking away jobs, and so they're like, "Yeah, come prove that to us, and we'll give you a fucking ticket to the movie." I'm like, that's kind of funny.
It's pretty fun. It's a cool idea, certainly. All right, let's move it over to Scream 7. The newest entry in the storied, historic, celebrating its 30th anniversary this year, Scream franchise. It has made, so far, $112 million on its way to making, I would say, quite a bit more than that. This just released 1 week ago, basically. It had the biggest opening weekend of the franchise and of 2026 so far, with $63 million. Budget is still very much in line with where these recent Scream movies have been, right around the 30 to 40 million ranges. Is 45. Of course, they had to do a little bit of script rewriting and had to shell out a little bit extra to get Neve Campbell back.
Yeah, that's probably where a lot of the budget jump comes from. Because also, it's interesting that this movie is a little bit tighter in scope than Scream 5 and 6 were. Especially Scream 6 set in New York, a lot more extras in that movie. This Scream 7 actually, it's a little bit surprising it cost that much. Again, the Neve Campbell budget element is a big part of that. But there's big swaths of this movie where there's no one around because there's a plot point that the police have instituted a curfew, and so there's empty streets. And I'm like, this. It does make the movie feel a little bit budget to me. But they spent the money, and people. Tanner,
where
are they fucking? Oh, God, this happened last year with Conjuring Last Rites. Where are you? Where are you coming from? Where do you live? Who are you people?
The people love horror franchises, Tucker. The people fucking love that shit, man.
How much did Insidious Red Door make?
A lot. Remember that movie was also huge. Remember that?
Jesus Christ. I just gotta look it up.
Yeah, summer 2023. That movie was a huge hit. I think it was the highest grossing of the franchise again.
$189 million.
Yeah,
what
man.
Are you doing?
People fucking love horror franchises, dude. They're back and bigger than ever. But yes, I as with the other films, I noted some opening weekend demographics. Something I found interesting, we have excised Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega from the cast of this and brought in Neve Campbell. That resulted in the opening weekend demographic skewing a little older than with Scream 5 and 6.
Interesting.
That
makes
sense.
The
biggest demographic was 25 to 34 instead of 18 to 24, which is kind of your bread and butter for age demographic for slasher movies is the teens or the just were teens kind of thing who can now go to see rated R movies, no hassle, no worry.
Yeah, no, that is interesting, and I do think that also that slightly older audience is the Scream audience. People that grew up with...
Yes, exactly. 30th anniversary, of course.
The earlier trilogy.
And, all of the marketing was hey, Sydney's back. Sidney Prescott, Neve Campbell, face on the poster front.
Want to know why that is?
Center.
It's because that's what the whole fucking movie is.
That is exactly what the entire movie is
about.
They had nothing else. They had nothing else to work with. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we talked about people loving their franchises. 56% of that opening weekend audience cited their love for the franchise as the number one reason why they came to go see the movie.
Now, I think that's funny because the reason they saw the movie. I would think that there's... I mean, maybe it's projection, but love for the franchise is the reason why I think this is just a giant fucking steaming pile of horse turkey.
Yes.
I'm like, what are you doing? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I also didn't write it down, but I think another 20% said that they went to see it because they like the cast, which to me is another like you just like the franchise kind of thing.
Yeah, you like Sydney.
Yeah.
Like, what other cast members are you going to see this movie for? You're not going for her daughter. I guess you can go for Gail, I guess, but like,
yeah,
honestly, she's like not.
McKenna Grace was in this. You know, she's a recognizable face now. Joel McHale is big from TV shows.
Yeah,
like,
fair enough. Yeah,
there's something, but it's to me, it's just like Neve Campbell from Scream. That's what you know her from.
Yes.
Anyway, and so that leaves, like, what is that, like 25% who went to go see it, probably because it's a slasher horror movie is their number one reason. So, yeah.
Yeah. And you have noted at the bottom here, the biggest overseas opening weekend for a slasher, I guess, of all time?
Yes.
$30 million?
I did a little I did a little research on it because, we invoked Conjuring Last Rites a little bit, and even like Insidious Red Door. International audiences tend to skew for like ghost spiritual horror more than like slasher movies. That has been more of a domestic leading horror subgenre, the slasher movie. But even like because I'm like, what are the biggest ones? I looked up Halloween 2018 did like $17 million opening weekend overseas. Bigger. So this is. Paramount and the folks behind Scream, credit to them, they've done the groundwork on making this something closer to a global franchise now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Interesting. And we'll see where it nets out. We'll check in at the end of next month, but it already is huge, and it's on track to be the highest grossing unadjusted Scream movie.
Yes.
And that's probably going to happen. And like, not much to say about that other than like...
Yeah. I think it is tracking to have a pretty significant second weekend drop. I just looked up to see some projections. It's looking to maybe be like above 65% for a second weekend drop.
Yeah.
Pretty hefty is because the reviews are not great on this. Obviously, that 31% on Rotten Tomatoes we talked about. Even like B- cinema score, not great for a franchise or an entry that brought out a lot of franchise fans.
Sure. But it just seems like looking at Cinema Score, this is actually just kind of the range that the Scream franchise operates in. They've all been B-, B+ at best. So, but yeah, it should be lower. Let's talk about what happened in February.
Yeah.
Or sorry, I guess
January.
So looking back at the funny little slate of movies we had in January. Primate rounded out its theatrical run with $41 million. Bone Temple, 28 years later, Bone Temple, $57 million, not making too much more after week 4. Mercy, $54 million. Send Help, $89 million. And Iron Lung with $50 million. Those last two are like the only things that mattered last month.
Yeah.
But again, it's actually kind of funny that I say that for Iron Lung. We talked about that quite heavily last month. That's a budgetary thing. It did gross less than Mercy and Bone Temple. But like you gotta compare to like what the projections and what the budgets
what the people behind it would have wanted, kind of thing. But no,
exactly.
Big successes certainly for Send Help and Iron Lung. They were kind of in a quiet competition for number one for a couple of weeks there. And yeah, really, really impressive stuff to come out of both of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Tanner, if we're taking a look back, and comparing what we thought of the movies of February compared to February's of the past, this is Is Dump-ruary actually February?
Yeah.
But with Dump?
I think
these are bad months.
This is a question that we raised at the end of last month's episode, Tucker.
Oh, did we? Did you watch it?
No, I just remember us being us asking like, does Dumpuary extend into February? And with your question there, Tucker, and looking at the last this year and the previous 2 years, February might be worse on whole than January.
Well, yes, but I also have to say, we didn't like a good slate, a good chunk of the movies were mixed on them from this month.
Yeah,
but dumping usually means like something that nobody wants to see.
Good point.
And has no market value. Crime 101, Goat, Wuthering Heights, and Scream 7. Like, that's 4 movies that have
And yes,
market value.
February
to them.
is the first time in a calendar year studios will be like, we'll put it out here. People will probably come to see it. So this is something of an important movie. I mean, we had an MCU movie. We've had MCU movies do extremely well over that February release date. Captain America: Brave New World was not necessarily one of them, but we still thought it was quite a poor film. But yeah, I mean, it's still better than 2024. I mean, fucking Argyle, Madam Web. I didn't like Bob Marley, One Love. Lisa Frankenstein was a little bit of a dud in my book. And then Driveway Dolls was fun.
That's a fun movie. Yeah. I think about that movie quite a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, not a good month. Things looking up for March to be better. Would not be a high bar to cross.
Domestic box office tracking, across the previous 3 years is pretty in line with what we've seen. We started high with your holiday weekend holdovers in January, dipped into February as those leave, and we are left with the actual 2026 releases, which are some big, some good sized hits for what their budget is, what the studios expect from them, but do not really bolster that like total like cumulative number.
Yeah, and we'll talk about March in a second, but I don't know if I see it even beating 23.
Yeah.
Cumulatively,
I think you're right. I mean, we've got
there's a big gap in there where you can sit between 25 and 23.
Yeah, there is.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, from memory, and we'll look at the slate here in a second. There's a big movie that's coming out this month.
Yeah.
And
we'll see. But
okay, the domestic
talking about
top 10 is we got some new stuff in here. Solo Mio from Angel Studios is sitting at number 9. Crime 101 we discussed is at number 6. Iron Lung at number 5. Wuthering Heights at number 3, and then number 1 and 2, other opening week of February. Number 1, 2, and 3 are all Valentine's release weekend movies. Goat, Scream 7, Wuthering Heights.
Yeah, and I would bet by the end of next month, Scream 7 will probably have. Well, actually, that's interesting. What do you think? Goat and Scream 7. Scream 7 will.
Ooh, that's a great question. Well, let me check. Because I looked at
Goat will hold better.
Goat's gonna hold better, but Scream 7 will ultimately outgross it still this weekend.
Yeah. And it's making bigger bites.
It is. It'll be. Scream 7 will take that number 1 spot.
Yeah. Yeah, and
hold it
nothing's gonna beat it until Mario.
Oh, you don't think? Well, we'll talk about it, but you don't think Project Hail Mary will beat it? I mean,
no, because when we're talking, that game comes out late in March.
Okay.
When we're talking at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Scream 7 will have passed 100 million. I don't necessarily think in a week and a half or whatever.
Yeah.
That Project Hail Mary
probably
not. Domestic.
You're right. Good point.
And then Mario will come out with like 160 domestic opening weekend.
Yeah.
And so like, Jesus Christ.
So Tucker, I want to take a look at the worldwide box office and the highest grossing films here, because it's Tucker, we have all these films that obviously you and I who are on top of movies are obviously familiar with. Crime 101, all the films we already talked about, Send Help, Scream 7, Goat, 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, Wuthering Heights, and then Tucker, just more that we've already know, films that we know are huge hits. Pegasus 3, Blade of the Guardians, Scare Out. Hang on, I gotta forget.
The Hidden Protector.
Boonie Bears, The Hidden Protector.
Oh, it's a Boonie Bears movie. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And Tucker, we know these films. We know them.
Boonie Bears is a big Chinese series.
Oh,
this
sure.
is like the 6th Boonie Bears movie. Not that I've seen any of them, but I've heard it mentioned on Charts with Dan.
Oh,
the
hey.
better show.
What? No.
This is crazy.
Yeah, I found out that it's just doing some research. Pegasus 3 is like a Chinese F1.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a racing movie.
God, I wish I knew more about these. I wish I paid attention more.
Yeah.
Because it'd be interesting to see these movies.
To be clear, I joke, I jest, I be sarcastic, but I have heard of Blade of the Guardians, and apparently that movie is quite good and cool.
Cool. Yeah.
Cool, action movie.
That's what we're working with here. A big Chinese slate of movies at the top, and then the a little bit lesser performing American ones. But it's time to talk a little bit about the news.
Yes, the news of the month. Tucker. Coming to you live, we have The Mummy 4 will be released on May 19th, 2028. Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz will return, and it will be directed by Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillett of the Scream franchise that we've just discussed.
That's true.
Scream 5 and 6 directors.
Dude, these guys, they just keep getting movies.
They're doing, because they did Ready or Not, and they're doing Ready or Not, Here I Come, correct? Yeah.
Yeah. I just looked into that the other day because I was thinking about Scream. I'm like, damn, where'd they go? Oh, that's right, Abigail, and now Ready or Not 2.
Yep.
So we'll see how that one does. Of course, coming out this month.
I think
David Leitch will direct Jason Statham Stole My Bicycle, starring Jason Statham as Jason Statham.
Yeah. Pretty fun.
All right, man.
Pretty. I mean,
Let's see what happens.
It really sounds like a what was that movie? The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent kind of situation. Sure. Yeah. But probably with some like punchier David Leitch kind of slick action stuff going on here.
Sure. Yeah.
Sony is developing an animated Venom film directed by Zach Lipovsky and Adam Stein. Those are the directors of Final Destination: Bloodlines.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
That's not what I expected you to say.
Nope. But no, Sony, I mean, it goes with the next headline here. The CEO of Sony Pictures says the Sony Pictures of Marvel characters, Sony Pictures Universe of Marvel characters, the SPUMC for short, will be getting a, quote, fresh reboot.
We'll see what that means.
Now,
I don't know, man.
Now, does this mean that they're maybe leaning towards an animated sort of route? With this animated Venom movie, they're obviously thinking in Spider-Verse terms. It sounds like to me. Mm-hmm. But with these guys on board, it sounds like it's going to be harsher. Maybe like a rated R animated film would be really interesting.
Be interesting,
yeah. The SPUMC getting a reboot? I just don't know. I just don't think that's a good idea.
No, I mean, I don't know. I think I disagree, actually.
Okay.
Because I think if you asked either of us at any point in the history of knowing that Sony was going to have their own Marvel movies, they're not going to stop making them. Like, I know they said,
they own the IP.
Yeah. And so it's like, they're going to continue to work on projects related to these characters. And a fresh reboot is that because it was a failed project other than the Venom movies, and so they stopped with what they were doing. And so like, I'm just curious for your read. Obviously, we are tainted by a slate of quite terrible superhero movies.
Oh yeah,
known as the Sony Universe of Marvel characters. But a fresh reboot means like we know that didn't work. Let's try something new with these characters that we're going to continue to make movies. I don't necessarily. Like they could be bad. Sony's doesn't have a great track record of Marvel movies.
Right.
I mean, they do also have good Marvel movies. There's
I see what you're saying, Tucker. Is that they are hopefully going to be taking a new, different, sort of directive to this new universe.
Exactly, a fresh reboot, if you will. Now, Tucker, new and different does not ultimately mean good. No, it doesn't. But it's I'd rather see something different than whatever the fuck happened for like 5 years.
What if they just did what if they fully like did remakes of all the movies that they already did? They do Venom 1, 2, 3. They do Madam Web. They do Kraven the Hunter again.
Jesus Christ, that'd be really fucking funny. And guys, we were busy that weekend.
Yeah, we were
for the entire duration of the original.
We were all busy for 6 years. I'm sorry. Okay. Paramount. Oh yeah, this is the big one that we should probably spend a little bit of time on. Tucker, did you hear that Paramount bought Warner Brothers for $110 billion?
I was about to bet 109, so it looks like
they just edged you out a little. It's Jeopardy rules. Wait, no, I mean Price is Right rules. Sorry, is what I mean.
Closest without going over.
You were the closest without going over, potentially.
But they won.
They won.
Whatever, man. Whatever.
They won.
Bits dead.
They won. Asterisk. The thing. With this is obviously all still pending. DOJ approval and state DOJ approval. Once this headline broke, there was questions being or doubt being thrown up by like the California Attorney General, who obviously has a big say in this in the entertainment industry in general. European regulators are obviously a massive deal. They often tend to be a little bit harsher on monopolies than the American DOJ for reasons that we don't need to get into right now. But talk about fuck it. Let's get into it. David Ellison, Larry Ellison, they are close with the Trump administration. They've been buddying up for the past several years, doing things that will get Trump and his administration in their good graces to approve this deal. So I would anticipate that this will get federal approval. This merger.
Yeah. I would agree with that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which again does not mean that it will ultimately go through. It's also worth pointing out that this is while this is bad because it is a lateral merger, it is two studios, two companies in the very same market coming together. And they're going to have a massive market share on streaming and theatrical markets and everything like that. That this is not the first time that Warner Brothers has been acquired, and their assets have been acquired. I mean, just a few years ago, we saw the Warner Brothers Discovery merger that obviously went so poorly that it has resulted in this. And a few years before that, it was AT&T. It was AT&T acquiring Warner Brothers, which actually went so poorly that they sold it to Discovery. So this is a recurring cycle of Warner Brothers just being sold, the leadership coming in, not being able to handle the debt and the business and everything like that, and ultimately selling it to a different giant wealthy corporation. Mm-hmm. And if you ask me, I think that trend will continue. Because while I don't know a whole lot about the leadership at AT&T or Discovery, I guess Discovery was David Zaslav, the Ellisons seem to be quite a bit more incompetent as businessmen than those folks.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, Paramount, they acquired it a year, 2 years ago now, something like that.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was recent.
Mm-hmm. When we say Paramount has bought it, what we mean is Skydance bought Paramount, and those same people are now buying Warner Brothers. They just are under the Paramount moniker now. Mm-hmm. They've not been doing well, like business wise. Like they retrofitted CBS News to be more favorable towards the current administration and his supporters, and like that business decision is not going well for them. Are they going to do that same thing to like fucking CNN? Who's to say? I just don't know. This is obviously a very, very bad outcome and will result in a lot of, at the bare minimum, a lot of people losing their jobs, as there will be so-called redundancy at Warner Brothers now. And,
at this Warner Brothers Paramount massive conglomerate crazy thing, which, by the way, I would wager if this goes through and they it's an acquisition, not a merger. This is not a Warner Brothers Discovery type situation.
Good point.
I think that there's a chance that it's just Paramount, and they just own more lots now and have people working on their shit, because what use does having two brands? What does that do for them? I don't really know.
That's the question that all of this raises. Does
would it be Warner Brothers Paramount or Paramount Warner Brothers? Would that be the name of the conglomerate, or would it just be Paramount?
Matt Bellamy at the town has taken to calling it Warner Mount.
It's funny actually.
But no, I mean, HBO has a massive branding, has the crown of TV branding prestige.
Yeah,
people know HBO.
They've said that they would be keeping HBO. Correct?
Yeah, but what does that mean? Keeping it? Does HBO become a thing in Paramount Plus? Does Paramount Plus become a thing in HBO Max? Do they stay separate streaming services?
Yes. The other thing that we can kind of draw comparison to is Disney acquiring Fox and keeping it as 20th Century Studios. And releasing just a couple of movies is kind of fucking vestigial fucking freaky guy.
I want to talk about that too. So
they pull out of the closet and they're like, in 20th century, time for you to release a movie. It's like, whoa.
Freakazoid father and son duo Larry and David Ellison have said that jointly Warner Brothers and Paramount would release 30 movies combined every single year. 15 from Warner Brothers, 15 from the Paramount side.
Now, Tanner, I heard that number, and here's my... I haven't done the actual calculations, but I'm like, that sounds like it's like higher than they both usually do. Where are these fucking movies gonna come from?
I don't know. Does
Paramount release 15 movies in a year?
No, fucking
maybe
okay,
close.
Let's pull it up here. Paramount Pictures upcoming movies.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a good way to look at it. And I'll pull up Warner Brothers.
Mm-hmm. So let's see. Since then, let's go to the beginning of 2022. 2022. Scream, Jackass Forever, The Lost City.
Oh yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Top Gun Maverick. That was a streaming release.
Now, I just did a little bit of calculations for last year's Warner Brothers slate, which I think a lot of people would agree is one of the strongest slates that we've seen from one studio in 1 year. They really, really killed it last year. 12 movies.
In 2022,
in theaters.
Paramount did 7. Let me look at 2024. Let me look at 2024 for you.
2024 or 25, like one of
those.
those.
Oh, sorry, 2025. I forget. Sorry. 2025. They did SpongeBob SquarePants, The Running Man, Regretting You, Roof Man, The Naked Gun, Smurfs, Mission Impossible, Novocaine, Heart Eyes, and yeah, that's it. So they did 8.
Okay, so we're looking at a combined 20 from both studios last year.
Yep.
And and I think that the clearest read of all this is that they're just saying shit to make it sound
Absolutely.
good. Because it's like, again, who's gonna make these fucking movies? If you're doing this acquisition and there will be redundancies, and you're like, okay, we have fucking 400 accountants and we only need 250 of them or whatever. Like, who's gonna make 30 movies? Both of these things these corporations individually are not able to do 15 movies a year.
For 2026, this year Paramount is planning on 11.
Where are the other movies going to come from?
I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it's safe to say that, Tucker and I are not in favor of this, obviously, and we would prefer if Warner and Paramount stayed separate entities. But
17 movies on the schedule from Warner Brothers.
Okay,
this year, by the way.
well, that's Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi going to work over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, this is going to be really interesting to follow. This is if this goes, this will be one of the.
There was like some leaked audio of Zaslav being like, this will take probably take 6 to 12 months for finalization. And he also funnily tacked on the end there. And if it doesn't, we get $7 billion and we go back to work.
Yeah.
So know, Zaslav, he's a rat bastard and a fucker, but like he seems realistic about the fact that like, even if it doesn't go through, they fleeced the Ellisons for $7 billion.
Yeah. It's pretty fucking crazy. What else we got?
Speaking of Warner Brothers,
Game of Thrones movie is in development.
Written by Willimon, who is the writer of Andor. This is talk about this means nothing to you, but apparently this is going to be an Aegon's Quest adaptation, which means that it's going to be massive budget, dragons flying about, lots of battles across many different locales across Westeros. So
you can't do the first Game of Thrones theatrical movie and not do that.
That's a fair point. Yeah, fair point. But yeah, that for Game of Thrones nerd, I think I said Aegon's Conquest is what I meant to say.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. So for Game of Thrones, or A Song of Ice and Fire nerds out there, I think that's what this is going to be.
Interesting. Okay, that's pretty cool. I mean, I think that's one of the top 3 untapped theatrical IP in terms of box office potential. do people like this? Isn't there one going on right now that people actually really like?
You're thinking of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms wrapped up a couple of weeks ago. It was a really good show, and people really liked it. And then House of the Dragon Season 3 comes out this summer. That's always a big hit with folks. But yeah, people like Game of Thrones, and there's lots of Game of Thrones fans still out there. And this, if I'm understanding the timeline of things correctly, in George R.R. Martin's fucked up head, this would be like a prequel to all of that. So like it doesn't really need
that's a great
the info
creative decision.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
okay, I like that. As of today, Pixar has kind of said, "Hey, here's what we are working on for the next couple of years." Monsters Inc. is going to get a third movie. It's been a long time since Monsters University.
Yeah, when was that? 2013, 2012?
Is it really that long ago? I thought it was like 15. Is it really that fucking long?
No, because 15 was Good Dinosaur.
2013.
Yeah.
God damn. Okay, well, we're gonna get another one of those.
In like 2030 or whatever.
They announced 2 more original films. A movie called Ono Ghost Market.
Yeah.
And
we don't have a title.
Directed by. No, we don't. They're gonna do a musical.
Yes.
An animated musical. I believe it's directed by Domi Shi, the director of
Turning Red.
Turning Red. Mm-hmm. So, Tanner. Now. In the like online conversation discourse about animation studios, there's always this like it's so over, we're so back kind of cycle of like if a sequel is announced, then it's over. If an original movie is announced, we're so back. How do you feel about the upcoming slate of Pixar movies? Hoppers released this weekend.
Yes.
Toy Story 5 coming. We got Gato next year.
Yeah. The year after that, we'll get Incredibles 3.
Yeah, and then probably one of the original movies, then Monsters Inc. 3, and then another one.
Yeah,
this is a really back and forth kind of thing.
Pixar seems to have found a rhythm with how they are balancing their sequels and their originals. And Tucker, I will say it, Hoppers is good enough that I am heartened back to the idea of like I think Pixar has grabbed the reins again here.
Sure.
But I felt they kind of lost it a little bit after like the run of the Disney Plus pandemic ones. Soul, Luca, Turning Red. But no, Hoppers is really good, and I think speaks to a good creative direction that they're heading. They're maybe reframing their mindset of like the kind of movies or what makes a Pixar movie. I remain a little apprehensive. I don't want to say too much about Hoppers, a movie that I think you should go see, and I think you'll enjoy. But what really struck me is that it's a little bit like I haven't repeated this take to anyone, so you're the first to hear it, Tucker. It's kind of like Pixar making a DreamWorks movie.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, just in terms of like the comedic vibe. The comedic vibe is also very similar to Turning Red, I would say.
Okay, all right, good to know.
But I think they are reframing their mindset and maybe getting some good footing under them now creatively. I remain a tad apprehensive about Toy Story 5, just based on what that movie is purporting to be about. But as we often say every time this comes up, there's not been a bad Toy Story film. So, in fact, they're all quite good.
Yeah. So we'll see, and that's going to be a big deal coming out this summer. But yeah, it's cool to know. What their upcoming slate is like,
and I'm excited for a Pixar musical. Sounds cool.
Yeah, why the fuck not? And again, guys, Gato is next year, and it's a 2D animated movie.
Yeah, man,
it's their first one.
Like I said, they're changing up the headspace of like what a Pixar movie is.
I agree, and I think that my read of this, and now it's a sequel to Monsters Inc. 3, Monsters Incorporated. You got another Incredibles. Yeah. You got a musical. You got a spiritual ghost movie. It's like, guys, like this is fine. This is good. Just because Incredibles 3 is happening doesn't mean we're fucking cooked. It's going to be fine. That's going to make $1.3 billion. And it's going to fund the next Hoppers, Elio, Luca, Turning Red, Soul, Elemental, Ono's Ghost Market, Gato run. Like, it's okay.
Yes.
I think this is actually pretty healthy balance.
I think so too. I think that it has become clear what the business model is now over at Pixar, and is looking just fine for them.
Yeah.
Okay. Lee Isaac-Chung. The last thing we got to talk about here. Lee Isaac-Chung has left the Ocean's 11 prequel, that movie starring Margot Robbie and Bradley Cooper. That was going to be at Paramount, citing creative differences. Apparently, this was supposedly amicable, though obviously you don't want it out there in the news that like there was a big blow up between your director and somebody else, producers or whomever. So I wonder who they'll bring on for this. I've seen some people saying that, I mean, it stars Bradley Cooper and Bradley Cooper should just direct it.
That would be very interesting.
Yeah. So
that'd make a very different kind of movie.
yeah. But you know, I really like the Ocean's movies. You know, they are doing this prequel and then also Ocean's 14 or whatever. And who's directing that?
I don't really know.
It's Edward Berger. Edward Berger's directing Ocean's.
Oh, 14. What the hell? Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
So, I mean, obviously, I would prefer if either or both of these were in the hands of Steven Soderbergh, but you can't get everything you want.
Yeah, but let's like, guys, I'm sorry, Edward Berger and presumably Bradley Cooper or whatever, like these are good directors. Like, it's gonna be fucking fine.
Yeah. Okay, Tucker, let's talk some March 2026 releases, get our predictions, and then get the hell out of Dodge.
Jesus. Okay. Yeah.
So, March 2026. This weekend, March 6th, is seeing the release of Maggie Gyllenhaal's The Bride and Pixar's Hoppers. Yeah, we'll get to our predictions for those in a second. Next weekend is another Colleen Hoover adaptation, this time adapting her book Reminders of Him, starring Micah Monroe and Tyreek Withers. We also have an A24 horror film called Undertone that is purporting itself to be the scariest movie you've ever heard.
Well, dun dun dun.
Because it's like a haunted podcast ghost movie or something like that.
It's a good bit. I like it.
Yeah. The week after that, March 20th, is Project Hail Mary. This is directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller. What was the last movie they directed, Tucker? Can we remember?
Did they not direct Across the Spider-Verse?
No. They just produced those movies.
No. So I guess
what is the last movie they did? Because did they do the Lego Movie 2?
No.
No, they just did the first one, right?
Director.
What have they been doing? What have they?
Whoa! What the fuck? Wait.
Have they not directed a movie since 2014?
What the shit? I want to be completely honest. I thought they did direct Spider-Verse.
No,
so
they just serve as producers. There's like 3 or 4 directors on both of those movies, and none of them are Lord or Miller.
Yeah, you only ever hear about them.
Exactly. they are the spokesperson for this, but also like they get guys who direct animated stuff to direct those movies. They're just sort of like the creative force behind it.
22 Jump Street and Lego Movie both came out in the same year.
2014. So, yeah. They have not directed a movie in over.
Interesting.
Of course, they directed some parts of Solo, a Star Wars story, but then that was taken over by Ron Howard. And I think the movie, the final product, was mostly a Howard thing. So yeah, it's been over a decade since Lord Miller directed a movie that has come out. And Project Hail Mary, Tucker, you read the book. You're very excited for it. I'm also excited for it.
Yeah, I love that book. Yeah. And this is the one thing where we're talking about. This is the one maybe hit of like
exactly.
Like truly blockbuster. Tell your friends, go see this. You haven't seen anything like it in a long time, kind of thing. I'm confident that it'll be good. I'm excited for it myself. Again, I thought the book was great. I think the trailers are very good. I don't know if if my sniff test says it's going to be an outsized success.
Sure.
Which is why looking at this slate, I see that's why I projected this is going to be below these other years because I don't think we've got this is the only thing where I'm I can see maybe a path forward for it being big.
That same weekend is the release of Ready or Not 2, Here I Come. And then the final weekend of March 27th, is a lower key weekend going into the Easter weekend where Super Mario Brothers Galaxy, is that the name of it, right?
The Super Mario
Galaxy movie. Thank you, Tucker. On March 27th, though, we get the release of They Will Kill You, which looks to be a really bloody, slashery kind of action thriller thing.
Oh,
starring
wait,
Zazie
Tanner,
Beetz.
wait. Tanner, what was the movie last year where he couldn't talk? Or no, it was 2 years ago. He couldn't talk
Silent
and he killed
Night?
a bunch of people? No. There's a fucking guy going around killing people.
Oh,
kind of thing.
In a Violent Nature?
No, never mind. I'll figure it out.
He
Fucking
couldn't
hell.
talk and he goes around killing people.
Yeah,
you're not,
the
and
guy
you're
that's
not,
mute.
and you're not thinking of Silent Night, the John Woo
No.
movie. Okay. Anyway, there's the other movie coming.
Boy Kills World, Tanner. I'm a fucking.
Oh yes.
Sorry.
Very Boy Kills World. This one, you know, it's got an ensemble cast, and they're all there to get their heads cut off or whatever. Anyway, there's also like a family fantasy movie called The Magic Faraway Tree, which seems pretty low key, but has a strangely kind of good cast. Let me remind myself of who's in this a second.
I never heard of this. Yeah, this is my first time seeing anything about it.
Let me see here. Magic Faraway Tree. Oh, it's based on a novel. How about that?
That makes so much fucking sense, Tanner.
Yeah. Andrew Garfield, Nicola Coughlan, Claire Foy, Rebecca Ferguson. You know, people
Sure.
are in this.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see about that.
Anyway,
is that animated or no?
that is a live action film, Tucker.
Huh.
All right.
Interesting.
Let's do the reveal here of our predictions. I think we're going to have.
Oh, we're the exact
same. Okay.
This is not planned.
No. Well, we've started doing a thing where we hide our predictions from one another, so it is more of like but we're pulling off the curtain of our top fives here. But yeah, I mean, is there really anything to say? Like, I think Hopper.
You know what, Tanner? Just to spice things up,
you're switching?
I'll switch Ready or Not 2 and Reminders of Him.
Okay.
I think that Reminders of Him, Colleen Hoover movie. Those have been doing pretty good.
Pretty well.
As of
they
late.
don't open huge, but they do stick around.
Yes, and there's not like a big star in this one.
Good point. Good point.
And so I'm lowering my estimations just a bit. Doesn't mean it won't do fine overall. But I think Ready or Not 2 will be stronger out of the gate.
Okay.
Sequel, horror movie.
Yeah.
Those movies usually like exploded at the scene and then kind of peter off.
Yeah, I just don't. My thing with Ready or Not 2 is like, how many people remember Ready or Not from 2019? And it comes out the same weekend as Project Hail Mary, which we both have at number 1. I think it's going to be a really big hit. I'm saying $65 million, honestly.
Okay, sure.
I think
so
it
like
will.
A Scream 7
like a Scream 7 kind of opening, yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully can dethrone that as the biggest opening weekend of the year for a brief time until Mario, of course.
Yes.
Hoppers, I'm being quite bullish on. Obviously, this is this weekend, so tracking seems pretty accurate. I'm gonna say 50. I'm gonna take a little bit of the over of what people are saying. Still under that Coco number that we discussed earlier in the episode, but still very, very good. Reminders of Him. Maybe I'm a little too hot on this. I'm gonna say I'll come down. I'll say 20.
20 million. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's probably too high. To be clear. But Ready or Not, Here I Come. I'm gonna say 10. Like I said, I just don't know.
Oh wow.
I just don't know.
I think that's too low.
Fair enough.
What did the first one open?
Open to? I mean.
Ready? Hold on. I'm doing it.
Okay.
Ready or Not? A domestic opening of 8. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. So.
I mean, it might.
10 actually would be like.
Yeah, I think they're doing good work advertising this. I see ads for it a lot. So that maybe
that was not actually that big a hit.
Yeah.
I mean, $6 million budget, it made almost 60.
This is what I was going to look up. Is Ready or Not on a streaming service currently?
Well, can't you just go to fucking Letterboxd?
That's what I'm looking up right now. It is not. I don't know, Tucker. This seems like a little bit. I feel like you need to like license it out to Netflix or something if you want this to be.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, especially in the lead up to the release of this film.
Well, that seems like a missed opportunity.
And then The Bride, Tucker. I'm taking the under 10 on this. I'm gonna say like 7 or 8.
Damn. Okay. Which of course means that all the other ones you think will be lower.
Yeah.
Undertone, word of mouth, kind of like interesting horror thing.
I considered it.
Yeah.
I
think The Bride's just been pushed more. Like that.
Yeah.
We're in the weekend of this movie. People not being pleased with it, but being quite mixed on it. To be generous. But I just think it's been marketed so much and for so long that I think it's like people will go see it and then it probably won't hold very well. But like.
I think
that's what gives it the edge.
I think it'll be unfortunately quite close between Undertone and The Bride. Maybe Undertone does like $6 million opening weekend. And this movie probably costs 10, if that. Undertone, yeah,
probably less.
You probably gotta be. I mean, I don't really know how effect heavy we're getting. But I can't imagine that much. But no, I think The Bride really seems to be collapsing in my estimation in terms of what it was supposed to do. So there you have it, folks. Our predictions for March. We'll be back next month to talk about all the stuff that comes out. Your Project Hail Marys, your Hoppers, really getting into how those films have fared before we start getting closer and closer to that summer movie season.
Yeah. Tanner, I'm already having buyer's remorse on switching Ready or Not and reminders of him, but you gotta keep it fresh. Gotta keep
fair
it
enough.
fun.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Okay.
It's for the entertainment value of the show, everyone.
Absolutely. And you know what, Tucker? Maybe the Magic Faraway Tree will take that number one spot. Who's to say what'll happen?
That'd be fucking wild. All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching.
Bye-bye.
See you next time.